These are the most absurd Family Guy episodes ever. We start our list with the time the Griffin household had another wife and mother. In the episode all about Alana, the Griffin family casually hires a live-in maid who turns out to be completely insane. It opens with Peter standing at the altar about to marry a woman who is very much not his wife. That woman is Alana Fitzgerald. And how she got there is a fever dream we're about to relive. 1 month earlier, Lois is teaching piano lessons like she's suddenly a 1950s sitcom mom. Her student, the sweet, soft-spoken Alana. A girl so polite and chipper, you just know she's got something deeply unhinged brewing inside. Lois offers to help her out financially by hiring her as a maid. Normal decision, right? Well, not necessarily, because this is Family Guy, and when someone offers help, it usually ends with an explosion or a felony. Alana quickly becomes the perfect house guest. She helps with chores, bonds with the kids, and even wins over Meg like she's auditioning for The Bachelor.
Glad you guys are all enjoying Alana so much.
Oh, she's the best. In fact, Alana and I stayed up all night scissoring.
Wow, Meg, you're really good at this.
Well, that's not the scissoring most of us thought, but then things start getting weird. Really weird. Alana's not just fitting in, but literally replacing Lois, piece by piece, one casserole at a time. Lois starts feeling useless. Her family's being charmed out from under her. Even Brian is hypnotized, and that guy once dated a woman who turned out to be a dead raccoon. Lois finally voices her concerns and says she's worried about the state of affairs.
Little worried about Alana. Kids seem to like her and she's good at her job, but maybe a little too good, you know? But sometimes I feel like maybe she's after something. I just don't know what it is.
Then comes the twist no one saw coming. Alana's not interested in Juilliard anymore. She's interested in becoming Lois. So, she takes the money Lois had lent her and goes straight to murder for hire. Yes, seriously.
But it was the other way around.
Here's $1,200. I want Lois Griffin dead by morning.
Which raises a few questions, like who does murder for $1,200? And also, does Peter not notice the woman walking around his house wearing Lois's exact clothes and hairstyle? She's even practicing Lois's part on the theme song.
It seems today that all you see is violence in movies and on TV, on which we used to rely.
But here's where it gets truly ridiculous. Alana thinks she's pulled it off, until Lois springs her own trap and returns just in time to stop Peter from saying "I do" to a complete lunatic.
I hereby...
Wait! Stop!
Well, unless she's been falling from the cliff for days, this is one of the quickest organized weddings even in the cartoon world.
I just wanted your life so badly. I've never seen a man love his wife as much as Peter loves you.
God, you need to get out more.
And your beautiful children, and your dog, the baby I never liked.
Which is sweet, until you realize Peter also once fell in love with the cardboard cutout of Kathy Ireland. And that's how the Griffins almost swapped moms without even noticing. The episode all about Alana is less like a sitcom episode and more like a psychological thriller with all the crazy turns and twists. And it proves that in Family Guy, all it takes to replace a mother of three is a piano lesson, a fake smile, and a hitman on speed dial. We move on to the next episode where we find out what happens when you lock a dog and a baby in a bank vault for days. I'm talking about Brian and Stewie, the episode where Family Guy stripped away all the cutaways, all the jokes, and all the distractions to trap two characters together with nothing but a diaper, a handgun, and a bottle of booze. The story kicks off with Brian heading to the bank to drop something in his safety deposit box, and Stewie tagging along with a $3,000 sweater he apparently must return.
And if I want to return this sweater, we've got to get to Wyndham's by 6:30.
6:30?
Yes, you have to return it within a fortnight for a refund. I love it, but I feel like it was too much. Cute, right? It's Tom Brown. It was over $3,000.
How did he even afford that? The black market? Credit card fraud? Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. As Brian fiddles with his box, Stewie steps outside to wait.
I'm not having fun anymore. I feel you should know that.
I don't believe this. Hello? Hello? We're locked in! Did you just crap your diaper?
I got scared when the door closed.
Yep, that happens. Stewie fills his diaper in the first 5 minutes, and then demands Brian eat it. But he still says no, because even he has standards, for now. Meanwhile, they shout for help. Bang on the walls, nothing works. The vault is lined with lead, and the next person won't show up until Monday. Stewie's panic starts spiraling. Then, in a miraculous turn of events, Stewie just happens to have a phone.
Come on, come on. Yes, hi, can you connect me to men's designer wear, please? Thank you.
What are you doing?
Yes, so just take a second. Hi, this is Stewie Griffin. Hi, Matthew. I think you're the salesman who helped me pick out a Tom Brown sweater 2 weeks ago.
The sweater might be Italian, but the logic here is straight up clown shoes. Brian loses it, and understandably so. He tells Stewie he stinks. Stewie cries by the vault door, and somehow that's when Brian finally caves and does the most loyal, disgusting thing he's ever done for a friend. He cleans Stewie's diaper with his tongue. This is the kind of trauma that turns people into Batman villains. And we're not even halfway through the episode yet. After the cleanup, they try to sleep. But Stewie suddenly realizes tomorrow is Sunday. They're not getting out for 2 full days. So, what's the next logical move? Start drinking, obviously.
This is as good a time as any.
What you doing?
Oh, hey. Just needed a little drink. Was kind of saving it, but what the hell, right?
Saving it for what?
That's not important.
Soon, Stewie joins in on the drinking. Let's just pause for a second and evaluate how absurd that is. A dog and a baby getting drunk in a vault. Wow. As expected, Stewie gets tipsy and demands an ear piercing. He just jabs it into Stewie's lobe like he's stabbing a Capri Sun.
Left ear, right now, stick it in. Come on, dude.
Can I just say before, can we just take 2... I just love how brave you're being right now. This is the closest I've ever felt to you.
Okay?
Okay, here we go. Ah! Oh my god!
Yeah, don't look too closely. It is not pretty. Then comes the emotional sledgehammer. Stewie accuses Brian of not really having a purpose. Brian tells Stewie he's just a smug little parasite. And then, the twist of all twists. Stewie confesses he made Brian eat his poop just to see if he could.
You would? I got you to eat my poop. And you know why I did it?
Yeah, you were afraid you were gonna get sick.
Because I wanted to see if I could.
You're a monster.
Hey, you started this whole thing.
That's psychotic, even by baby genius standards. Brian grabs the gun and threatens him, only to notice a security camera. Their entire nightmare is being recorded. If that footage leaks, Brian's life is over. Forget being a writer, he'll be a meme. But before he can fully panic, the gun goes off.
Ah!
You almost expect Bugs Bunny to pop in and say, what's up, Doc? After the chaos dies down, Brian finally opens up. He explains why he keeps the gun. It's not for show, it's for him, in case he ever needs a way out.
Aren't you gonna say anything?
Wanting to kill yourself. I think that's pretty selfish of you.
How is that selfish?
You're the only one who makes my life bearable.
I thought you said I was the best of a bad situation.
But the truth is, you're my only friend, Brian. If I didn't have you, I'd be lost.
You'd be okay.
No, I wouldn't. You're the only one I like.
Well, thanks.
And when the door opens, Brian picks Stewie up and carries him out into the daylight like a war buddy bringing home the wounded. No music, no gags, just silence. A rare moment of sincerity in the weirdest, most absurd bottle episode in animation history. Next is the episode, And Then There Were Fewer. A tale where Family Guy did a murder mystery, but for real this time. It all starts when the Griffins get a strange letter inviting them to a fancy dinner at a remote manor.
Peter Griffin, you and your family are cordially invited to a gala dinner in your honor at Rocky Point Manor.
What? What are they honoring you for?
Who cares? It says here it's for the whole weekend and it's free.
Well, who's the invitation from?
I don't know, it doesn't say.
Well, you're not gonna go, are you? It's clearly some kind of scam.
Still, Peter insists they go. The Griffins arrive only to realize that half the town also got the same letter.
Joe?
Peter?
The hell are you guys doing here?
Well, we got an invitation to a dinner in my honor. I assumed it was for all those arrests I made last month.
Well, that's weird. My invitation said it was in my honor. I assumed it was for being able to fart the alphabet, which I almost did till I pooped on the S. Ah, well. Everybody on the bus was upset long before that anyway.
Sorry, Peter. Guess you're not the chosen one after all. At dinner, the host finally appears. And Who is it?
Good evening, everyone.
James Woods?
James freaking Woods. Apparently, he's found God and wants to apologize to everyone he's wronged. Which is everyone in the entire room. James insists it's not a prank or some elaborate scheme, he's just there to say sorry. And if that sounds suspicious to you, well, congrats, you've seen television before. As the guests debate whether Woods has actually changed, Quagmire's date randomly sits in James's chair and senses a dark energy. And then, boom.
Star chart? Did the cork hit me?
The guests panic and run outside. But, surprise! The bridge connecting the manor to the mainland is washed out in a storm. So now they're trapped with a killer in a giant house. It's truly a frightening situation. Trying to call for help? Forget it. No cell service. Joe tries to arrest Woods thinking he's the obvious killer. But then, the lights go out.
Oh my God! Is this what black people see all the time?
Look!
When the lights come back on, James Woods is dead. Knife in the back, so now the guy who everyone thought was the murderer is murdered. They find a timer-controlled gun rigged in a hidden passage, meaning the first victim was just collateral damage. The classic wrong place and wrong time. Everyone has a motive. Everyone's acting sketchy. Even Peter, who manages to knock out Joe by falling over in a suit of armor. Honestly, if I were in that room, I'd have killed Peter just to shut him up. Eventually, the group uncovers a secret room that reveals that Muriel Goldman was selling pills to James Woods.
And all from Goldman's pharmacy. What's that all about, Goldman?
Says here he talked Muriel into selling him OxyContin for him and his 19-year-old girlfriend. He threatened to blackmail her by turning her into the feds.
Sounds like a pretty good motive to me.
No, it's not true. I would never kill anybody.
It'll be easier for us all if you...
They split up to look for her because horror logic says divide and die. Moments later, another scream. Muriel is found with the same knife in her back. And Mort gives a eulogy that's less than delightful.
Oh my God, Muriel, my sweet Muriel. She was so young. She was so beautiful. She was so generous. We were married.
Guests start dropping like flies. Derek, Priscilla, you blink and they're gone. Tom Tucker becomes the prime suspect when Priscilla is found dead in his room. He runs, but gets caught.
Just for that, when the movie of this story comes out, I'm gonna make sure Adrian Brody plays you.
I guess that means you don't want anyone to see it.
Case closed. Or is it? Before leaving, Lois checks on Diane Simmons, Tom's new co-anchor who seems oddly chill for someone who just survived a murder party. She even shows off her solo anchor outfit.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. I mean, how could she have known you'd be anchoring alone? I mean, none of this happened until... Gosh, I think I better, I should go.
Boom. Plot twist. Diane was behind it all. Why? James Woods dumped her. Tom Tucker tried to replace her with a younger anchor. She literally decided to kill her way into a solo career. So after taking Lois at gunpoint, Diane leads her to a cliff, about to finish the job, when... And who saved the day?
If anybody's gonna take that bitch down, it's gonna be me.
Of course, it's Stewie. Who else would bring a sniper rifle to a dinner party? In the end, half the town is dead, the killer was your local anchor, and the lesson is... maybe don't RSVP to mystery dinner invites? What an absurd episode. Up next, we have an episode that starts with a perfectly reasonable adult decision, and then spirals into total chaos in true Family Guy fashion. I'm talking about the episode, Partial Terms of Endearment. It all starts when Lois heads to her 20-year college reunion and runs into Naomi, an old college friend who just happened to have had a thing for Lois back then.
Look, I'm just not wild about the idea of running into anybody you used to date, that's all.
Speaking of exes, here comes one now.
If he tries anything while I'm standing here, I'm gonna kick him right in the ball-gina.
Peter, this is Naomi.
Peter, being Peter, immediately assumes this reconnection is going to end in a threesome. Because, of course he does.
Why do we have to leave, Dad?
'Cause your daddy's gonna have a three-way with your mother and her friend. Isn't that nice about Daddy's three-way?
Yeah, real Father of the Year energy. But then Naomi and her husband show up with a real proposition.
I found out that we can't have children. We've conceived many times, but for some reason the eggs won't attach. We were wondering if you would be our surrogate.
Oh my God. You want me to carry your child?
Meanwhile, Meg volunteers to be the surrogate.
I can do it.
Oh, come on, Meg. It was hard enough on your body when you gave birth to Stewie.
What?
I'm just joking.
Let's just go ahead and delete that from our memory. Lois goes ahead with the procedure, and within a few days, she's pregnant. And obviously, Peter is pissed and starts thinking of ways he can have her abort the pregnancy. They get into a shouting match that doesn't get anywhere. But just when things are settling into normal pregnant sitcom hijinks, tragedy strikes.
Naomi and Dale Robinson were pronounced dead on arrival at Quahog Hospital.
Oh my God.
So now, Lois is pregnant with no adoptive parents inside. You know what Peter's solution is? Send the fetus up to heaven. Yeah, like mailing back a package you forgot you ordered.
Well, you could have an abortion.
There you go, Lois. We abort it. Send it on up to Dale and Naomi. Well, they're probably waiting for it anyway.
And people say Family Guy lacks subtlety. With no clue what to do, Lois and Peter head to a family planning clinic for professional advice. After they are convinced that the procedure is safe, Lois decides to undergo the procedure. But when Peter steps outside to wait for her, he's immediately swarmed by screaming protesters.
Hey, what are you guys bellyaching about?
Sir, we are doing all that we can to stop the killing of millions of unborn babies.
And what's the best way to educate people on a complex, deeply personal issue? Obviously, with a propaganda video that includes horrifying and mind-blowing made-up information.
Hello, friend. I hear you're contemplating having an abortion. Not only is abortion murder, but it's also larceny, jaywalking, and securities fraud. And did you know the baby you're aborting may also have a baby inside of it that you're also aborting?
Well, that sounds very convincing already. The video hits Peter harder than any form of common sense ever has. And suddenly, he's Captain Pro-Life, ready to save the unborn baby with everything he can.
Peter, what's inside of Lois won't be remotely human for 6 months. There's no brain activity until at least the 27th week.
It's still a person, Brian.
Well, what if a woman is raped?
Maybe she should have thought of that before she asked me for directions.
Huh?
Wow, that escalated quickly. So the couple has a serious, heartfelt discussion about what this all means. A deep, raw exploration of their morals, emotions, and the sanctity of life.
Well, so now what?
Now, I say we go upstairs and have a long talk, and we don't come down until we've made a decision that we both can live with.
All right, Lois.
We're not really sure if Lois actually had the abortion.
I mean, sure, having a baby costs a fortune, but you know what? It's one more person to share the world with. One more Griffin to love and to love us in return.
We had the abortion.
Well, that's settled then. And with that one line, the episode ends. If you didn't know, this episode was actually banned from airing on Fox and only aired in the UK before being released on DVD. And look, regardless of where you stand on the topic, you have to admit, this is one of the darkest, weirdest, and most unexpectedly serious Family Guy episodes ever made. But was it Family Guy doing what it does best? Absolutely. And that's why it earns its place on this absurd list. Moving on, let's go back to the episode Da Boom, where the world ends because of Y2K. Yep, the most 90s panic button ever.
There won't be any other time. The world is gonna end at midnight tonight.
Y2K? What are you selling, chicken or jelly?
At midnight, every computer in the world is gonna fail. All the world's nuclear weapons will explode, annihilating the entire planet.
And naturally, Peter does what any sane person would do, immediately panics and hoards supplies. He tries to convince his friends to cancel their parties, but they just laugh it off because, you know, alcohol. Then Peter lures his own family into the basement with the promise of Christmas gifts.
You know that one Christmas present you really wanted?
A phone?
A pony?
A humidor?
A dead Lois?
Well, it's in the basement.
Lois suspects something's off. Anyway, he manages to convince Lois to stay by pushing her down the basement. Meanwhile, at the ball drop, everyone waits to see what happens. And, for a moment, nothing.
9, 8. This is it.
A flautist, Peter.
Well, I hope you're happy. We can still make the party if we...
All hell breaks loose. Nukes fly, the world burns, and Y2K takes the biggest I told you so victory lap in television history. So now, the Griffins are officially living in the post-nuclear war world, and things are off to a weird start.
Oh, hey, Cleve Meyer.
That's Quagland.
Quagland?
About kicking your fat ass.
Cleveland and Quagmire are now fused into one person. Peter and Brian go scavenging, but instead of food, they find this.
So what do you think, Diane? Can I cook or what?
I guess we should be eating her with chopsticks.
They're eating Asian reporter Trisha Takanawa.
That's crazy.
Yep. Cannibalism. Day 3 of the apocalypse, and we're already seasoning our coworkers. Since Quahog is just radioactive ashes and people soup now, Peter decides the family needs to travel to Natick to find the only food that can survive a nuclear holocaust. Twinkies. Yes, that was a real plot point.
Oh, she's out of gas.
Look! Like to set a spell?
Actually, we are tired.
Well, we got plenty of room here.
Their journey stalls when the car breaks down, but they get rescued by a nice farmer who gives them food and shelter. Sounds great, right? Until you realize the place comes with Randy Newman.
Yep. Just sits there all night and day.
Fat man with his kids and dog drove in through the morning fog.
Despite their desperation and hunger, the Griffins can't stand him. So they literally choose Irradiated Wasteland over Randy Newman's musical recap of their bathroom routine. Can't say I blame them. Just as they think everything is working against them, they run into some good luck.
Yeah! It's about damn time!
They eventually reach the Twinkie factory, which is fully stocked. So naturally, they decide to rebuild society from scratch. Welcome to New Quahog.
Well, before the disaster, I was a physician.
We need a doctor. We sure do. Let's hope you get it. Now pick a job out of the hat. Oh, village idiot. That's a good one.
It all comes down to what is written on that piece of paper. Then, as expected, Peter ruins the only water system in the town by melting down the pipes to make guns. Because, apparently, the town needs guns more than water. This irritates New Quahog residents to a point they decide to get rid of their beloved mayor.
Wait, we can work this out!
The townsfolk revolt, torch the guns, and throw the Griffins out. So, guess who shows up now?
Quick, grab the guns! They're our only hope!
That's right! Mutant Stewies. Maybe they should have stayed with Randy Newman. So, somehow Peter and his family manage to get away while the town burns behind them.
I'm not always right after all.
Hearing you say that almost makes it worth having the world blown up.
I hear there's a Carvel factory in Framingham.
With New Quahog Nuked 2.0, the Griffins wander off into the wasteland again. Grateful they still have each other. Touching stuff, except it was all just a dream.
Bobby, I just had the weirdest dream. I saw the strangest episode of Family Guy, and Stewie was an octopus.
Hey. What's Family Guy?
Classic cop-out ending. No moral whatsoever, just a radioactive fever dream brought to you by sugar snacks and poor planning. While that ending was absurd in its own right, the entire episode has ridiculous turns and twists that earned it a spot on our most absurd episodes. Our next episode on the list is April in Quahog. As usual, it's an episode filled with absurdity and outright chaos. Things kick off with the announcement of a horrifying new discovery.
Breaking news. NASA has made the alarming announcement that the newly discovered black hole, Neptune and Pluto, have already been consumed, and scientists estimate that the event horizon will reach Earth by tomorrow.
Means that all life on Earth will be destroyed within 24 hours.
Oh my...
Oh good. Nothing like starting your morning with existential dread and the gravitational collapse of your entire species. Naturally, this being Family Guy, everyone in Quahog handles the end of the world with calm maturity. And by that, I mean full-blown chaos, lawlessness, and terrible life choices.
Joe, you gotta help me get laid.
What do you mean? You've had sex a million times.
I just talk big for the fellas. I don't want to die a virgin. Help me, please. Let me have sex with Bonnie.
For my friend on our last day on Earth. How was your first time?
Oh, I've had sex lots of times. I just wanted to have it again.
That's just brutal, but kind of expected. Meanwhile, Lois wants the family to spend their final hours together in peace and love. A sweet sentiment. Too bad Peter's response is to show up riding a stolen zoo lion named Montecore.
Hello, everybody. This is Montecore.
Peter, what the hell?
Peter's priorities for the last day on Earth include ignoring his family, making zero emotional effort. Honestly, he's not even changing his behavior. That's just regular Peter. And with seconds left before the Earth is presumably crushed into a cosmic smoothie, Peter decides this is the perfect moment to tell his kids that he doesn't like them.
Don't you love me?
You're the most important person in the world to me.
You promise?
I promise. I just hate being around the kids.
What?
Sorry, I just thought I'd be honest since we're gonna die.
Then, just as the end approaches,
April Fools!
What?
Yup, the greatest prank in history. A global fake-out that triggered mass panic, widespread looting, and emotional trauma for citizens everywhere. Hilarious. But hey, the good news is, everyone's alive. The bad news? Peter still has to explain what he meant when he said he doesn't like being around the kids.
Wait, what did Dad just say?
Now Peter's stuck in that awkward post-prank haze where you realize your true feelings were very publicly broadcast. And rather than apologize like a normal human being, Peter doubles down with a hypothetical that involves his kids being enslaved or something like that.
All right, you want the truth? They bore the hell out of me, Lois.
Bore the hell out of you? They're your kids.
I know, and I love them, but don't you just sometimes wish they'd run away or get kidnapped and be made to work in a Temple of Doom?
You know you've crossed a line when even your kids are like, yeah, no, screw this.
Morning. I'm just kidding. So what do we got? Pancakes? Cool. Hey, what's on tap for school today, kids?
Shut up, Dad.
Whatever.
Ooh, that's Meg's finisher move. The verbal equivalent of getting hit with a folding chair wrapped in shame. So Peter tries a new strategy, taking an interest in his children's lives. The results? Less dad bonding and more please get off the internet forever.
Hey, buddy. What's going on? You having your period?
What?
I'm just trying to take an interest in your interests.
My period's not an interest.
And when that backfires, he ups the ante by offering Chris a little father-son bonding over crystal. What better way to reconnect than through an illegal drug spiral?
I got some crystal. I figured we could do it together as father and son.
I don't know about that.
Tell you what, I'll get us started.
When all else fails, Peter finally pulls out the last card in that deadbeat dad playbook.
Guess there's only one thing I can do to regain your love. Who wants a brand new Xbox?
Who needs emotional maturity when you have cutting-edge gaming consoles? So, despite nearly confessing that he doesn't like being around his kids, Peter manages to redeem himself through the magic of consumer electronics. Moral of the story, if you ever tell your kids you don't like them, just follow it up with a new console.
Oh, Daddy!
Well, I guess if you can't earn your kids' respect, you can always buy it.
Still, maybe next time skip the world-ending prank, and maybe, just maybe, don't tell your children that they make you miserable, unless it's on April 1st. Then it's legally binding. And finally, our last episode on this list is so weird and so uncomfortably serious, it might as well be from another show entirely. I'm talking about the episode Screams of Silence, the story of Brenda Q. Quagmire misses a fishing trip, so the guys check on him only to find him dangling on a rope in his house.
Holy crap! Oh my god! He must have autoerotically asphyxiated himself!
Yeah, while he was watching clown.
Yep, this is how we're starting. So the guys take him to a hospital for treatment. That's where his sister, Brenda, and her boyfriend, Jeff, come to visit. The thing is, Jeff is a human trash fire who treats Brenda horribly.
All right, on the way back, I get to pick the radio station, because that was awful.
I know, yeah, it was. I'm sorry. Oh, God, I hope Glenn's okay. I'm so worried about him.
Shut up and limp! We're in a handicap spot, you
Honestly, Quagmire waking up from a coma just to deal with this guy feels like a punishment. They crash at Quagmire's house, where Jeff immediately begins abusive artist cosplay.
Can I put my nightgown back on?
No, I'm not done drawing.
Lois tries to intervene, but Brenda brushes it off by saying Jeff hits her soft and gently. Yeah, clearly Brenda has what we call Stockholm Syndrome.
Everyone, I have wonderful news. Jeff and I are getting married.
The guys stage an intervention, but Brenda, after getting threatened by Jeff, shuts it down by announcing they're engaged.
Oh, congratulations! Have you thought of any names yet?
Well, this episode's like a PSA taped over an episode of Saw.
Over there, and we do what's right. We kill a bastard.
Whoa, Quagmire. You know I could arrest you just for saying that.
Quagmire decides to take matters into his own hands. Literally. He proposes murder, and the guys kind of support it. They trick Jeff into going on a friendly hunting trip, which goes downhill fast when Jeff turns the gun on them. He drags Quagmire into the woods for a one-on-one showdown.
What the hell? I killed you!
I choke myself every day.
Jeff didn't realize Quagmire's basically the Batman of autoerotic choking. The guys then lie to Brenda saying Jeff just left.
Home last night and he hasn't called.
Yeah, we found this note he left you.
Dear Brenda, I have decided to leave you. I realized that you are too good for me, and you and our unborn child would be better off without me in the picture. Love, Jeff.
Her reaction?
I kind of want to kill somebody else now.
It tries to say something important, but it's just absurd. And there you have it. The most absurd Family Guy episodes on our list. Family Guy proves time and time again that absurdity is just another Tuesday in Quahog.